Makasimple, tag-ulan na. Kaya gagawa tayo ng isang sabaw na siguradong magpapainit sa ating mga tiyan. Ito ang cheesy chicken and mushroom sopas.
Simpol, luto na,
So gagawin na natin ngayon ating cheesy chicken and mushroom sopas. Nagpakulo na ako ng manok, nilaga ko na yung manok earlier. And nandito yung kanyang sabaw, ang kanyang stock. And nandito yung chicken na hinimay ko. So yung chicken ko is like half a kilo na chicken. So ibabalik ko lang yung chicken. So assemble na tayo. We'll just add the chicken back into the pot. Then, instead of using macaroni, I'm just going to use spaghetti noodles. Yan. What I do with the spaghetti noodles is I just break it, no? Yan. Ito like 2 inches pieces, no? Break natin. So it's gonna be very creamy. And I will also put sliced canned mushrooms. So let's make it a bit special today. And I just add minced onions. Wala na tayong gisa-gisa. Just a little bit of garlic to give it a flavor. Garlicky flavor, very light garlicky flavor. And I just stir that. No? While we wait for the noodles to cook, I'm gonna chop my vegetables. So I'm using here carrots. Yung noodles natin will take around 10 minutes to cook, 9 to 10 minutes to cook. And we just keep on adding our vegetables while it's boiling and simmering. Yan. More flavor, more texture. You don't have to be too fancy. Just like a creamy chicken noodle soup. Then we add our, if you have a stalk of celery, yan, add lang natin yung celery. If you don't have celery, you don't have to put it. Yan, just add our celery. Let it cook. Let's just wait for our soup to cook. And we will make a thickener. So, to make a thickener, di ba usually sinasabi natin slurry? Iba naman yung style ng thickener yung gagawin natin. Ito is very French style, no? So, I have around 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. And I will add just around 2 tablespoons as well of butter. So, we're using Arla unsalted butter. Just that, a little bit of butter. And we combine, no? We make a paste using our butter and our flour. So, we be sure na it's really mixed very well para paghalo natin ng ating flour and butter mixture, hindi siya magbubuo. So, I just set my butter and flour mixture aside and I season our soup with some salt. No? Para may flavor na siya. We're building flavors on our soup. Let it boil until our noodles become cooked. It's really going to be so perfect. Yan, especially on a rainy day. As our noodles are almost cooked, I will now add our butter and flour mixture as our thickener. Yan. Just pour it over. Dissolve natin siya. And you will see our soup thickens and there are no lumps. No? There are no lumps because the butter and the flour is mixed. And now our soup is already thickened but not yet thick enough. So, once the vegetables are cooked, pag malambot na yung ating noodles and our vegetables, we can add a little bit of cream. So, I'll add a little bit of cooking cream. Just around half a cup. Half a cup of cooking cream. And, of course, to give it the cheesy touch, we will add Arla cheesy spread. Yan, 1 whole bottle of Arla cheesy spread to our soup. Look at it, it's so creamy and it's so flavorful. So this is a 140-gram bottle. So I just season with a little bit cracked black pepper. Hindi ba kayo excited sa recipe natin ngayon? It's a bit fancy. And look at that, our soup is so silky. It's so smooth because we are using cooking cream. Kasi if you just use ordinary cream, pag pinakuluan mo, nagbe-break, kaya medyo pag nakita mo, hindi na maganda yung texture na inyong creamy soup. And now, we just finish with some spring onions or chopped leeks into our soup and we're ready to serve. And to make it even more cheesier, we top it with Arla cheddar cheese made from 100% natural ingredients. So yan, especially if you have growing kids, this is a very good thing to serve them. Yan. So we just grate the cheese over our sopas and garnish. And here it is. I would just like to thank Arla and the Pastry Alliance of the Philippines for inviting me to do this recipe. And here it is. Di ba tempting? Ating very rich and delicious creamy chicken and mushroom sopas. Simple! Restaurant is yung oysters or yung tahong na may melted cheese on top. Paano nga ba siya gawin? Medyo komplikado yung cheese sauce niya, pero sisimplihan natin.
Simple, simple. Luto na, ha.
So, sisimulan natin sa pag-prep ng ating tahong. So, I have some mussels galing sa market. Simple lang, nag-boil ako ng water and I'm just going to blanch it no, hanggang mag-open. No? So, I just drop my tahong into a pot of boiling water. Cook it for like barely a minute hanggang mag-open up lang siya. Once mag-open up siya, we will begin cleaning it. Yan. We transfer it into an ice bath para yan, to cool down so we can clean it. It will stop the cooking para hindi ma-overcook yung ating mussels. So we just remove the side of the shell na walang laman, and usually may whiskers yung ating mussels, so we just cut it off. No? You can use a knife, a paring knife, but you remove that. So look at that, we cleaned out all our mussels. So tingnan mo, it's very plump and juicy because we cooked it very briefly in boiling water and immediately shocked it in ice water. So na-stop yung cooking process. Kaya hindi siya naging dry, hindi siya naging pulpy, hindi nag-ooze out yung lahat ng juices niya. Ang gagawin natin, napaka-simple kasi simple version ngayon gagawin natin. Ang gagamitin lang natin is cheese spread. So gamit tayo ng cheese spread. You can use cream cheese or whatever. And I just put a little bit on top, around just half a teaspoon of our spread over our mussels. Hati-hati, hating kapatid. No, not too much because we're going to add another kind of cheese pa. So, we're just putting a dab of cheese on top. Cheese spread. Before we bake it, we'll transfer this to a baking pan. I will just saute some garlic in butter. Yeah. So, sobrang bilis natin matatapos dito. Melt some butter in our pan. Look at that, sobrang katiting nang nakuha ko sa aking cheese spread. So, matipid siya, hindi siya yung very costly. Yan, just melt our butter. And I already add my garlic. So, I have minced garlic here. So, masarap din tong butter natin. We do it this way and we spread it in bread and toast it. So, we have garlic bread. Let that cook for a while. Ito naman siya, idilipat ko na siya sa aking baking pan. Nilagyan ko na yung baking pan ng asin, no? The only purpose of the salt is para hindi mag-wobble yung ating tahong, no? Ating shells, hindi mag-wobble because ito yung magiging parang stabilizer natin. Pwede ding pulutan if you want. And our butter and our garlic is done. Look at that. Oops. Turn it off. Yan, just enough. Turn it off. And because I use unsalted butter, I just seasoned the garlic a little bit, no? Just around a pinch of 2 of salt. Yan, and we're actually done. And we just add cheese on top. So yung gamit ko na cheese, simply gamit ko is pizza topping, yung ready mix na yung sa groceries. But you can use quick melt cheese, you can use like just plain mozzarella. It's really up to you. Pero ito yung ginagawa ko, just put a little bit again. Not too much kasi it's going to ooze out, no? Pag nag-melt siya, matatapon din yung cheese mo. So just a little bit to cover our mussels. And we're done. And lastly, yan, add a bit more. Ito yung garlic butter natin. That our garlic butter is So beautiful. Tingnan mo. Nice golden color of our butter and our garlic. Yan. And we just put a little tiny bit of our garlic on top and our butter. Ganun din yung sistema. Oops, we're done. And what I do now, I just pop it in the oven. I preheated my oven to 190 degrees. In 3 minutes or less, pwede mo na siya ilabas. Kasi it's going to be done. And our mussels are already nice and cheesy. And our mussels are done. Melted na melted yung ating cheese. Ayaw na natin i-toast ang cheese kasi once we toast the cheese, mangyayari is ma-overcook din yung ating tahong. Yan, just put it aside. Yan. Let's put this aside and we'll garnish. Put a wedge of lemon on the side para medyo fancy yung dating ng ating mussels, and just a little bit of spring onions. Diba kahit 1 or 2 pieces para pagmukhang, just to add a bit of freshness. Yan. Try this at home mga ka-Simpol. It's surely masarap, it's easy to do, and it's something to share with the family. Cheesy baked tahong, Simpol! Nagustuhan niyo ba ang video na to? Please share para lalong dumaming ating mga ka-Simpol. And don't forget to subscribe to our Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram accounts.